Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another book review from me, your humble host, Logan Albright. Today, I'm returning to my little side project of trying to read all the winners of the Booker Prize, the Man Booker Prize from Britain. I've been going through those in order and trying to find out about some interesting authors, especially British authors, and I found some interesting works. Nothing has really been like one of my favorite books of all time yet so far, but I am enjoying them, and I'm enjoying learning about new authors, and I'm really enjoying reading some like really elevated literary prose. I've read some more popular fiction from the 21st century recently, and I've been disappointed in how kind of lacking in style the prose has been. It all feels kind of the same, and I don't feel like the authors have an individual style, and that sort of bothers me. So reading something that's really well written has been very gratifying and fun. And the book that I'm talking about today is called G, simply the letter G. It's by John Berger, and it came out in 1972, winner of the 1972 Booker Prize. This is basically a biography of a fictional character. It's a story of a man's life, and he's sort of patterned on like a Don Juan or a Don Giovanni or a Casanova type figure, a real womanizer, a ladies' man, that sort of thing. And I have sort of mixed feelings about this book. There's things I really liked about it, and there's things I didn't care for. So I'll kind of go through it a little bit and talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. The first thing I liked, which I've already mentioned, is the prose. It's very well written. I think the author has a real good style and a real good way with words, and that's always nice to read. It's also fairly short, so you can get through it quickly. I found it easy to read, which was pretty good. The plot, as it is, concerns this man's life, and it starts off with. It actually has a lot of the book is concerned with before he's born and with his childhood. You learn about his parents, you learn about his father, and you learn about his father's wife, and then his father's mistress, who ends up being his mother. His father is a candied fruit merchant from Italy, and you get all these wonderful characters drawn, and you learn about all these things. And then the child is born, and there's all these arguments about the parents over who's going to raise him, who's going to be involved in his life. And then you get his childhood. He injures himself while riding a horse and ends up getting some teeth knocked out, and that kind of contributes to his look as an adult. And all that stuff I kind of found fascinating. I really like the growing up story, the childhood. I like the backstory of his parents. I really like that. And then when he gets a little bit older, he goes off and is hanging out with these aviators, these professional plane flyers, pilots, I guess is the word, struggling to think of words today. And they are trying to fly over the Alps. This takes place sort of at the beginning of the early part of the 20th century, right around World War I. It's about to happen. And our main character, G, which may stand for Giovanni or may stand for Garibaldi, never really quite spells it out. He's sort of immune to the political forces around him, or the scientific forces around him, or the social forces around him. These aviators, they're really, excited to have adventures, and they want to go and fly over the Alps, and they want to set this new record of something that's never been done before and achieve something great. And he doesn't care that much. He's interested in chasing girls. And the same way, like when World War I happens, he kind of gets drawn into World War I against his will. He doesn't really want to be involved. He would rather go chase girls. And I found all that interesting. I love the stuff about the pilots. I love the stuff about them trying to get over the Alps and the difficulties of that. It almost takes on a story of adventure, like an adventure story tone in that section. I thought that was really nice. My main problem with the book is I really dislike the main character. I found him pretty contemptible. It gets quite graphic in parts, which I'm not a huge fan of. The sex scenes are pretty well drawn out, and there's actually a few illustrations, very crude illustrations by the author, and kind of childish illustrations in the book. And so that kind of stuff was gone into more lurid detail than I would have liked personally. And then the whole character of the main character's character, to be redundant, his personality, his loose ethics, his loose morals kind of bothered me, because he's not just like having fun with single girls and, dating around or, having these liaisons with people. He's like actively trying to seduce married women, and, much to the upset of their husbands. And it also, the way he draws women is pretty unflattering, the author, because the women are invariably, unable to resist this character G, and they will put up a fight, and they'll say, no, I'm loyal to my husband, I love my husband, I'm not going to cheat on him, and then they do anyway, because G is just so irresistible, which I found, it's disgusting on G's part, because he shouldn't be trying to get these women to cheat on their husbands, and it's disgusting on the women's parts, because they should have more self-control. So that really bothered me. I really found that unlikable, and it really made me mad about these women who the author paints as so weak and so easily drawn away from the things they care about by an attractive man. It just seems like a very unflattering caricature of what women are actually like, and so that bothered me a lot. So that part is the kind of stuff I didn't like, but overall I found the story quite engaging and interesting, and I thought the writing was beautiful. So I enjoyed this book more than I didn't enjoy it, for the most part. It's a little puzzling to me, like what the point of the book is. I guess not every work of art has to have a point, certainly, but you always feel like there's going to be some kind of motivation for writing it, or some kind of moral at the end of the story or something. And this just felt a little bit arbitrary. Like, why is this story being told? It sort of ends anticlimactically. Nothing really that exciting happens. I think that it's sort of dealing with the backdrop of the events of the early 20th century and just one man's sort of disinterest in them. And one man's just not really caring about them and wanting to live this life of hedonism instead. I guess that's sort of what he was getting at, but it was a little bit strange. So overall, I think I like G more than I didn't like it. And if you have a higher tolerance for kind of graphic sexual content than I do, you might enjoy it more. But it is well written, and the characters are interesting, and it's a really strange novel. Like, it's very different than other things I've read, and so I enjoyed it for that. I like reading things that are new and are going to surprise me and be different. So I thought it was worth reading. Not my favorite of the Booker Prize winners so far, but certainly interesting, and I'm glad that I read it. So I'll be moving on to the next one. Not right away. I have some other stuff I'm doing, but I'm going to continue this project and keep reading Booker Prize winners and see if any of them really grab me. So that's what I thought of G by John Berger. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again next Wednesday with another book review, as I try to do every single Wednesday if I can keep up with my reading. It's always difficult to do that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave me comments down below, and come back and check for next time. Until then, I've been your host, Logan Albright. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.